Yo, Wats fam, welcome to the show. I'm your host Josh, also known as JM Wats here, and welcome to another episode of Watts Sports Hawaii here today. And today we have a big episode because it is playoff time in the 808.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yes, Jim Mora, it is playoff time here in the 808, as I say it again, because we have football and volleyball going on here this week. So let's not talk about it anymore. Let's kick the intro and let's go into Watts Sports Hawaii. Alright guys, welcome back to Watts Sports Hawaii here. Hope you guys are having a great day here so far. So now let's get into the main stories here, as we'll start it off with girls volleyball. Alright guys, so in Division 1 of the OIA Championship game, Kaiser took down Lelehua 3-1 with scores of 26-28, 25-21, 25-18, and 25-22. Kaiser was led by Pulele Huokeb with 13 kills and 17 digs, and Jalen Nihipali, who had 7 kills, 20 assists, and 11 digs for a double-double as well. Congratulations to Kaiser, as they have won their second OIA title in school history. Then right after that was a highly intense matchup between Mililani and Kuku, where the Trojans turned Trojan Town into Title Town once again, as the Lady Trojans went on to defeat Kuku in straight sets 3-0 with scores of 25-18, 25-17, and 25-14. The Lady Trojans, led by Falanika Danielson, had a double-double last night, 17 kills, 11 digs, and also Star Sergeant, the OC16 Impact Player of the Game, led Mililani with 6 kills, an ace, and 3 digs. This is Mililani's third OIA title in school history and the third title in 8 years under head coach Val Crabb. Now let's go to Singapore, where Mililani's own Angela Lee will try to make big time MMA history on the women's side here, as Angela Lee will try to look to become the first women's fighter to hold two weight division championships simultaneously in one championship. So Angela Lee is already the atomweight champion already at 52 kilograms. Will now try to become the strawweight champion in one championship, which is at 57 kilograms. Over there. So Angela Lee will try to make history on November 9th in Singapore. Our University of Hawaii football team took a beating last week against BYU up in Provo, as the Warriors lost 49-23. The Warriors try to look to beat BYU in Provo for the first time in school history, are now 0-10 in Provo, Utah. That drops the Bulls to 6-2 for the year, but however they will come back home to Aloha Stadium and get back to Mountain West Conference play, as they will host the Nevada Wolfpack. And our final main story here for today is when the ILH and the OIA football games get back in action this week, as the OIA Division 1 and Division 2 will open playoff games here this Friday and Saturday, along with the ILH as well. So in the ILH, Punahou will be taking on Kamehameha. The winner takes on St. Louis, and then the OIA are having their league championship games as well, while the Division 1 Open for the OIA is closing out their regular season this week. Alright guys, welcome to the next segment of my show, PTI Pardon the Interruption here, where we just talk about the opinionated topics here on the show here. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so we only have one topic here for today on PTI, but it's no big deal because there's not too many big things going on here controversially, but however, we're gonna talk about this topic here, and that is, should we be concerned about our University of Hawaii football team after they got their beating against BYU last week? And to be honest, I'm not too concerned about.
Are you sure about that?
After they lost to BYU. I mean, it's a tough place to beat a team like BYU, and I mean the records and the statistics show it. Now Hawaii's 0-10 up in Provo, but it's one of those learning curves, as I would like to say, because for Hawaii, they have a young team, Cole McDonald only a sophomore, and many guys who are underclassmen, so as Nick Rovich said, they're disappointed, and all that they lost and they couldn't do it for the fans, all that. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of football to be played, and they have another big game, and that is against Nevada, and that is in Mountain West Conference play, so it's time to flush whatever happened last week and restart new, fresh this week against Nevada. And so what I think about this game between Nevada is that it's a big rivalry game, a big game for both teams. Hawaii trying to get back on track with the win and to stay perfect in conference play, but for Nevada, not really having the success like Hawaii's having at a record of 3-4 and 1-2 in Mountain West Conference. But it's a from Nevada, to me, it would be a character builder. Trying to get the confidence back in the Wolf Pack. But it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be determined between the defense and the turnovers. Corey Batoon, the defensive coordinator, and Faris, the defensive back for Hawaii. They were talking about trying to create turnovers first this week, and so I think that this is going to be a major role in the game. So watch out for how many turnovers each team has, and basically where that turnover will be on the field. So that's my key for this week, as Hawaii will take on Nevada at Aloha Stadium Saturday, 6 o'clock p.m. And alright guys, now let's also talk about this topic here, and that is that playoff football is back here on the islands of Hawaii here in Hawaii High School football, as this week OIA Division 1 and Division 2 will kick it off along with the ILH Division 1 Open. But let's go to the ILH first. So, and I think I said it a bit here in the beginning of the show here, but for the ILH Division 1 Open inside here to determine their league championship. So Punahou will take on Kamehameha this Friday at Aloha Stadium, and the winner of that game will play the undefeated and nationally ranked St. Louis for the ILH championship the following week. And the loser of this game will have to turn their pads in early this season. Now let's go to the ILH and for Division 1 and Division 2 play here, as the playoffs are also getting started in those two divisions as well for the OIA. So it's Division 1 here. So Division 1 here will be a big one here for the OIA, as Moalua, the number 1 seed, undefeated in the regular season, will take on Castle at Mililani, and that will be the second game of the night over there. So the big one going over there is that Castle nearly beat Moalua earlier in the season, but let's see who has learned from their mistakes from game 1. And then Friday night up north, now up in Wahiawa, the Lelahua Mules will host a playoff game for the second straight year in a row. And this time it will be against the defending OIA Division 2 champs, Waipahu, who have this year been bumped up to Division 1 after winning the OIA Division 2 last year. And the previous time they met this year, Waipahu looked like in control, looked like they're gonna pretty much cruise to another homecoming win, but Mark Riso and Max Nichols had other plans in the second half, and pretty much dominated Waipahu. And I believe they scored like 35 points in the third quarter all alone. And yeah, Lelehua put a beatdown on the Marauders on Waipahu's homecoming and senior night. Both of the Division 1 OIA playoff games will be televised on OC16. Now let's go to Division 2 here, as both games are on Saturday, but the first one will be a big one as the Roosevelt Rough Riders will host the Pro City Chargers. So the first meeting between Pro City and Roosevelt was a surprise shock, as Roosevelt went up to Pro City and took care of business as usual, where I really thought Pro City was going to do the exact opposite, but Roosevelt really showed who they really are, and that game pretty much gave them the second seed, as the following week after Pro City lost to Roosevelt, Pro City lost to the eventual number 1 seed Kaimuki, as the Kaimuki Bulldogs will be taking on the 4th seed, the Kaiser Cougars. And so Kaiser is making their first Division 2 or their OIA Division 2 playoff since 2013, when they won the OIA title under former head coach Rich Miano. And also this game will be the first game at Milline High School, and kickoff is expected to be around 4:15, I believe, and it will be televised on OC16 as well. And now for the OIA Division 2 and Division 1 here, championship game. It will be held next week, Friday at Aloha Stadium. The first game will be Division 2 at 5:30, winner of the 2 semifinal games. And then following Division 2 championship game will be the Division 1 championship game. And that will be between the winners of the semifinals in Division 1. Alright guys, and the final big thing here for Hawaii High School football is the OIA Division 1 Open here, as 3 teams will be fighting for 1 spot left in the playoffs here this week, and 2 games will decide who is in for next week's semifinal game, and who are the 2 teams who are going to have to turn in their pads next week. So 2 games that will be determining who gets the final spot will be Campbell going to the west side of Waianae to take on the Sea Riders, and then the Kapolei Hurricanes will try to weather a big time cuckoo storm up on the North Shore. So on the screen here, these are the possible scenarios that could happen and what will happen. So the first scenario is if Campbell beats Waianae and Cuckoo beats Kapolei, there will be a coin flip for the last spot for the semifinals. And guys, please, I know it says quarterfinal, but we're going into the semifinals already because there's only 4 teams. But yeah, guys, that is the scenario if that happens. But however, if Campbell beats Waianae and Kapolei beats Koku somehow, then Kapolei is the 3 seed and Kuku drops to the 4. And Waianae and Farrington have to turn their pads in early next week. But however, if the scenes flip in Waianae, where Waianae beats Campbell and Kapolei beats Koku, then it's pretty much the same as well, with Koku already beating Waianae this week, and then Kapolei already having wins over Kuku and Waianae as well. And then the final scenario will be if Waianae beats Campbell and if Kahuku beats Kapolei, then it was pretty much a signed, sealed, delivered thing for Waianae, as they are in the final playoff spot for the OIA Division 1 Open, and they'll take on Mililani next week, and Kuku will have the 3rd seed. I'll be talking about more of the 2 games coming up next for the next segment, Pick'em. Alright guys, now we're on to the last segment of the show, and that is Pick'em. Alright guys, so I have 7 games here for this week. So let's get right into Pick'em this week. And so let's start off with the OIA Division 2 playoffs here. And let's start off here with Kaiser against Kaimuki at Mililani here. As I say, Kaimuki was Sama Pa'ama, but we'll take care of business against the Cougars. Easy win for Kaimuki this week. Then let's go to Honolulu as the Roosevelt Rough Riders will take on the Pearl City Chargers at home in Roosevelt. And I gotta say that Roosevelt takes care of business once again against Pearl City. And we'll have a Bulldog versus Rough Rider Division 2 or a Division 2 championship game. Moving up to Division 1 here, and the first game will be on Friday as the Luhuo will host Waipahu here on OC16. As I gotta say, Max Nichols and Mark Karisu will get off to a hot start once again at home against the Waipahu Marauders and will once again take care of business. Alright guys, and so now let's move it up to the OIA, the Open Division here, as we'll have action up in the North Shore as the Kukura Raiders will look to weather a storm of Kapolei here. And I gotta say this, for Darren Hernandez looking to beat Koku up in Koku for the third time in his coaching career as head coach. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I have Koku beating Kapolei this week. And then on the west side here, we have Campbell against Waianae. I say Campbell keeps up their hot streak going on that they have going on right now. And they end off the season on a high note with a big win over Waianae. And they keep the sledgehammer. And then finally on Friday night will be for the final spot in the Islands Championship game, as the Kamehameha Warriors will be battling Hugh Brady and the Punahou Buff and Blue. But before I get into who I think is going to win and my prediction for this game, I want to say congratulations to Hoku Arias, Kamehameha linebacker senior, who just got accepted into the Polynesian Bowl, which will be held in January of 2019. But however, I gotta go with the Buff and Blue on this one. Hugh Brady and Kaleane, I think it's just too much for Kamehameha to handle, and they'll meet St. Louis in the championship game the following week. And alright guys, it is Hawaii's main event here today, and we have a big one as the Castle Knights will take on the Moalua, Namenehune, at Mililani, and that will be the nightcap on OC16 here on Saturday, and I can't wait for that matchup this week Saturday. So let's dive right into Hawaii's main event. So, to give a little background here for this game, the two teams have met before this year in the regular season, and that ended in a very close game here as the Namenehune barely edged out the Knights in Kaneohe. And I believe just as the score was right here. I have the score here. Yes, 40-36 here. Nick Al threw a few no, sorry, not a few, but he had 4 interceptions, but a few of those interceptions were taken back for pick sixes. Says in the process, but for Castle, they may have lost a couple games at home to a couple LH teams, which was Damien and Iolani, but for them, the one thing you gotta watch out for them is running back Sini Tuli Puni Vai. Hey, for Castle, number 7 he's a running back and somewhat of a quarterback as well if Castle needs him there. But for Castle and their coach John Howell, it's a big deal to have him in the backfield and making plays if they want to move on to the championship game next week. And now we have come to a verdict here on Wats Sports Hawaii here, as I've come to a final decision here. And so, I love Nick Al. I love what Moanu is doing. Undefeated, 8-9-0, their first ever undefeated the regular season in school history and all that. And that's why I got a Blee Blue from Moalua. Yep, it's not many Hune this week over the Castle Knights here once again this year. And guys, I am really confident in this one. I don't think I'll have to be stressing on this one as well.
Está loco, stress trigger. She's the one that gives me stress. También anginas.
But guys, thank you so much for tuning in on Wats Sports Toy here. Guys, please, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And that notification bell so you don't miss any other videos on Wats Sports Hawaii or on my channel right here. And guys, also please subscribe and follow my second channel, J Magic Wats, as I teach and perform magic tricks on that YouTube channel. As I look to reboot it again after a 3-month hiatus from the channel. But yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for my show. Lick 'em, false 'em, and shoots.